Welcome everyone to Divinity League, and this is, I believe, week five of the splits, and we have ourselves an undefeated matchup here: Andromeda Esports versus Conduit, and they have a whole different set of names here. Conduit, blanking at it. Terminally Unhedge Greed. That's a mouthful. I'm Caleb Peng. I'm joined with Chong. How you feeling today?
Feeling great, really excited for this matchup here between two undefeated teams. Already got to see Andromeda Esports Avengers once so far this season, but this is going to be our first look at the Conduit Tug roster with, the World, Glada, Wall Street, Slifer, Fallen X Warrior. A lot of familiar faces on both sides of the rosters. If you've been around the plat scene for a while now, you know all these guys. So, this is going to be a great one. I was lucky enough to actually get to see Coach Silent K and Glada already face off once against each other last week over in Blue Otter League, where Coach Silent K was the one to come out with the win for it. So Glada might be looking for a little bit of revenge this week, have a better performance and get his team to continue that undefeated streak. So going to be a very exciting matchup here.
Definitely. I'm very curious to see how they play out their roles too, because I've seen Wall Street on the top lane and bot lane, and now it looks like Wall Street's in mid lane. So a lot of flexibility here. And I've seen them do some role swaps in the middle of a series as well. So going to be very interesting to see if they're going to flex that or not. But having that kind of role flexibility is definitely interesting, especially when it comes to a draft perspective. But a lot on the line for these teams. Both will likely make playoffs unless something crazy happens in the next few weeks. But at the same time, too, staying undefeated and having that bragging rights and going in as a top seed in playoffs is definitely something.
Yeah, no, Wall Street probably won't be role swapping a lot in this series in particular, just because I only saw him really do that with one particular roster. But he is, like you said, back home in his mid lane, where that's where I got to watch him start his career or off for the most part. But a lot of good players in this one. My eyes are really also on me, Mafal, and Slifer down in the bot lane. Mafal being a newer player to the scene, and Slifer kind of an unknown entity for me personally. But he's been having a good season so far. So really excited to see this one off. We're getting into the draft here. Conduit Tug going to be on the blue side for game number 1, and Andromeda Esports Avengers going to be on the red side as the first ban. It's going to be that Amumu, and that's a valid ban for Glada to say ban this away after he had to play against it last week, where Coach Silent K absolutely popped off, picked up a quadra kill on the Amumu, went absolutely ham on this champion. So not surprised to see that banned away. Also going to ban away the Poppy, another Coach Silent K pick, especially after the buffs that Poppy had gotten this patch. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's better just jungle clear in general too, and I think a lot of the pros are kind of eyeing that as well. So if you already have a lot of Poppy experience, then definitely something to consider banning in that jungle. And then the ban out the Nasus, which could also be a Nasus jungle ban too. So a lot of potential jungle targeted bans on the side of Conduit, but for good reason, as we've seen what Coach Silent K can do. And we get another jungle ban. Wukong's going to be banned out as well. It's going to be Conduit with that blue side with that first pick. Let's see where they take this, as Smolder was banned out too. Could be a pretty annoying champion, but was nerfed a few patches ago, so maybe not as strong as before, but in the late game, it's still something. And we get the Maokai going to be picked up first. Could be support, could also be in that jungle side.
Could also be a top lane flex if the world does play it. It just has a lot of flex potential. I'm a little surprised to see it prioritized this early, because I still think two of the strongest junglers on the patch are available in the Jarvan and in the Xin Zhao after the Wukong gets banned away. But just want some guaranteed engage, guaranteed lockdown for them. And then the side of Andromeda, instead of going for the Ashe Seraphine lane, they actually are going to pick the Jinx for Mafal, which is one of his best AD carries, and then just lock away the Seraphine to go with it. So not wanting to give over the Ashe Senna pairing or the Ashe Seraphine pairing to the other side. So just going to take away the Seraphine themselves, as Slifer going to be piloting the Senna this time around. Senna did get nerfed this patch. The soul rate on minions you kill has dropped, but it has increased on 4 minions and camps like your allies kill. So we haven't seen fasting Senna come back into the meta yet. It is still just primary farming. Senna still is a very strong champion in the current meta, so not surprised to see that being priored here by the side of Tug. They're also just going to lock away the Nautilus just to have even more engaged for themselves, as Coach Silent K going to get his hands on his Jarvan, one of his best champions, right after the Amumu, I would say, and then Poppy as a tertiary. But getting into second phase bans here, Mordekaiser going to be banned away from the world, and and then an Olaf ban makes it seem like that was the pick that they wanted on the top side potentially for Ludacris. Also, just a good Olaf player, and kind of makes sense why they would ban away the Mordekaiser this time around. Mel going to be taken away from Wall Street, so we'll have to see it. We did see Cyclone in the last time we got to cast the Andromeda team pull out the LeBlanc, which did get buffed and promptly banned away by Conduit, not wanting to play against a Fed LeBlanc in game number 1.
That's right. I really like the Olaf ban as well too, because there's a ton of CC on the side of Conduit, and you really don't want Olaf just running through you like that. We get the Silas pickup, so going to likely be in that mid lane unless they really want to flex it in that top side, which is quite unlikely. Still up to debate on where the Maokai is going to be, but at this point, looking like it's going to be a Maokai jungle as we get the Rumble picked up, and then final pick on the side of Conduit. They still have to decide this as they will be going blind. Whoa, hold up now. Okay. It might be a Rumble mid.
It's a Rumble mid. It has to be Rumble mid for Wall Street.
Yes.
I mean, like you said, this guy's played top lane before. He has experience on these top lane champions, so kind of is just willing to pick that matchup. Thinks it's a good answer into these styles. We'll have to see if it works. They pick up the Urgot, but Ludacris is going to get his signature Renekton here in game number 1. So it's going to be an interesting top lane matchup because both the Renekton and Urgot can have a lot of impact in these mid or to late game team fights if they get the right angles. So gonna have to see which one of these top laners is gonna get more focus and who's gonna be the one to come out ahead. But I think for the side of Andromeda, they want to be playing for this Jinx, try to get her online early, get to that first item quickly. While I think Glada has more options because Slifer doesn't really do a ton of damage early on this Senna, so really don't expect him to be going bot all that much. But it's also, you kind of want to get your Rumble and your Urgot into a good spot, so I think we're going to see the junglers on opposite side paths this game. But you know, it's definitely going to be interesting because both these junglers, especially Coach K, is a lot more on top of his traditional timers, while Glada likes to go for these weird off-timer ganks, like drops a camp to get this gank to go off, and really tries to create a lot of chaos on the map. So definitely going to be interesting to see how these junglers play out these early couple of levels and where they are prioritizing for their comps.
Definitely, and I think a lot of it is, it's protect the Senna comp, but it's also protect the Jinx. But if you look at the composition from Conduit, they're very short range. I mean, I guess for the most part, Andromeda is decently short range too. Outside, Seraphine casts some spells from afar. So all I'm expecting is a lot of brawling in this match. I think Slifer can definitely get really strong on a scaling Senna, but Jinx is obviously a late game hyper carry as well. So we'll see if Slifer can keep up with the damage from the Jinx, but this should be a pretty interesting one and a lot of flex on both sides. So particularly on the side of Conduit, I would say, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, we can see that Mafal has had to go for the cleanse on the Jinx in this one, just because of how much CC is actually on the Conduit composition. But both top laners starting with that Ignite, as we're getting a little bit of an invade here. Ludacris being forced away, but because Gladys started with that Bramble Smash, they're not going to have any lockdown. Ludacris is going to slice over the wall and is going to be okay, but definitely going to be interesting. Glad with the Aftershock in this one. Slifer taking a whole lot of damage down here in the bot lane early. Already has to drink both of his potion, or just a singular potion. But because Fallen Warrior was late to lane, making sure that Coach doesn't go for a counter invade once Glada is seen on the top side, Slifer is the one to suffer down in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I mean, you're probably going to be suffering for a bit too with double range composition from the side of Andromeda. Fallen Warrior just going to be there to peel, but it'll be a little bit hard to land some of these stretch lines into this composition. As you can see, Slifer taking so much damage. I mean, Seraphine just such a good support these days and just could be able to dish out damage from afar, and on top of that, still heal up your ADC. So we'll see kind of how Slifer weathers the storm on that one, as Gav Dougie Fresh is going to be playing in this mid lane against Cyclone, and you can see Cyclone already taking a good chunk of damage.
Right, so this makes a lot more sense now because it is Gav playing in the mid lane and not Wall Street. Gav is a top laner and the only Rumble player I really know in the Platinum Elo, so it makes a lot of sense now why they picked the Rumble for the mid lane. So now all the pieces are coming together, but like you said, this bot lane, you'll have to see if Fallen Warrior is going to be able to get value out of this Nautilus pick in lane, because there are angles where you can get kills on the enemy bot lane. Hold on.
Oh, Cyclone taking a good chunk of damage, but actually clutches up the first blood with some of that healing from the Kingslayer. And that's going to be massive for that matchup. A little bit behind on CS, but that'll help you even up some of the gold. And also you can shove a wave here, but looks like after Fresh going to TP right back in and not allowing Cyclone to get too much out of this.
Yeah, that's also the Ignite difference there. Cyclone taking that Ignite while Gav is gone for the TP is willing to just go in for a much more aggressive trade as the Electro Harpoon not going to connect, but the second one does. Cyclone just going to be forced to take a later recall now, and that's actually massive for Gav, already being up in the CS department. Like, yes, he did get died for the first blood in that 1v1 that was extremely close, but now he can slow push this wave into Cyclone, potentially get another good recall off for himself, and get into a higher, an earlier Faded Ashes than expected. Hold on top lane.
Here comes the Disdain and the Ignite. Ludacris just going to slice and dice out of there. Was going to take a good chunk of damage. Still has his own Ignite for a trade later, but no TP available. So going to have to just take some of this minions under turret. Gives the world a chance to back off. And, you know, I got to say, too, that, oh, okay, looks like Kosan-K trying to go and gank onto Gav Fresh in the river by himself for now, but you can see Maokai starting to rotate over and Glada there for the additional support. Fallen Warrior as well in the area. Meanwhile, it looks like they do have Prio on that bot side, so they can go for this potential flank in this mid lane. And Cyclone just going to have to dash out and see what happens, as they're committing a lot to this, actually. Let's see if they can punish Slifer in response, though, knowing that Slifer is by themselves in this area. But Top Skull Crab is going to be cleaned up from Andromeda.
Yeah, this is big now. Gav no flash.
Oh, and the Scion does land, and one more auto will do it, as Cyclone is going to pick up another kill. 2-0 to start off for Cyclone to get some place. Meanwhile, Dredgeshine does land onto ME, and the Jinx going to buy a little bit of space. And with Notorious and a Jinx just dishing out so much damage from afar, I don't know if they could get out of this, forcing the flash out from the Nautilus. And that's one of the downsides of having such a short-range composition, even winning out in that 2v3. But here comes Cyclone for additional gank, and Glada is in a tough position. Cyclone's now on a killing spree, and they're just adding even more damage to his bot lane as Fallen Warrior and Slifer just trying to weather this storm and see what they can do. But the range from this bot lane from Andromeda is really punched in this early game. Meanwhile, the action does not stop as the world is being ganked from Kosan-K. Kosan-K buying a little bit of space for Ludacris, allowing them to crash this wave. And, oh, Ludacris actually taking, what, 3-4 tower shots for no reason. And the world actually just picks up a kill for free. However, might still go down. Glada is here for the additional assistance. Things are falling apart on this top lane for Andromeda, and Kosan-K has nowhere to go. Glada, a few more autos should be able to do it, and picks up a kill back, and all of a sudden we're back to 2-3.
Yeah, so really bad that Cyclone is off to this 3-0 start on the Sylas, but luckily for the side of Conduit, the top side of Andromeda just absolutely crumbles. Ludacris gets the Ignite onto the world and then walks under the turret because they were looking for a potential dive angle, but because the Ignite was taking on the world, the tower recognizes that, and Ludacris just eats like 3 or 4 tower shots, like you said, and Coach is already so deeply committed for it. Glada, after the gank and bot fails, is able to rush immediately up to the top side, help out his top laner, pick up a kill for himself. So now the world on this Urgot sitting at 1-0-1, and like I said, this Urgot can be a big problem in the late game team fights. So we'll have to see how Conduit is able to use this advantage for themselves, while Andromeda have this Sylas who can impact both sides of the map in comparison to the Urgot in the early game. So definitely going to be interesting. Top laners, both with the Ignite, need to have those TPs. The Cyclone look for more in the mid lane.
The Son of Duck does land onto Gav Dougie Fresh again, and Cyclone really trying to take advantage of the lead that he has a level advantage as well as has that ultimate up. Meanwhile, Gav's still on that level 5. But yeah, I mean, if that top side didn't go so poorly for Andromeda, then they'd be in a really good position. But now the gold differential is still not that big, mostly in that mid lane for the most part. But yeah, Ludacris maybe just getting a little too eager there and just thought that he could have walked out turn range, but unfortunately not going to be the case. Meanwhile, it looks like both junglers are pathing into this bot side. Let's see if they're going to go for anything here, as it's going to be the Nautilus that's rooted up. Fallen X Warriors has to get out here before the Jinx gets the passive up, and here Jinx is excited and starting to dish out a ton of damage to Glada. Glada has nowhere to go, just going to be locked up, and Slifer now taking even more damage. There's going to be 3 kills going over to this bot lane as the Super Mega Death Rocket is not enough to land. Meanwhile, Cyclone going for another solo kill, and that's a 4-0 Sylas to start things off.
Yeah, bot lane started out with Fallen Warrior just getting absolutely eviscerated, and with no flash, just no way to escape the Jinx and Seraphine onslaught. And Coach Silent K able to just come in, secure that one. And then once Glada goes in to try to save Fallen, he has no way to get out because he has no flash. Both of them fall down there. Nothing in return for the side of Conduit. And then Cyclone, once again, just finding the damage in the mid lane on this Sylas with the Ignite, is able to get another solo kill for himself. Even though the Equalizer, I don't think it landed onto Gav, but it really did not matter at all. Like, Cyclone, very online early, already sitting at 4-0, has a CS lead as well, and is on his way to his first item. I'm curious to see which one he's going to build. It looks like a potential Lichbane first item with those, but with no Sheen in inventory, it's hard to tell which item Cyclone is going to be focusing this game. It's not going to be the Proto Belt, so we'll have to see what he's actually going to be picking up.
And there's some pretty good ultimates for Cyclone to steal in this game, too. I mean, pretty much all of them have value for the size, just depending on which ones you want to go for. But that equalizer damage can definitely do some damage as well coming from that Sylas. Meanwhile, bot laners just trying to farm up as much as they can. I mean, Slifer, you know, wasn't expected to be an early easy game, especially into his double range composition. But with Emmy, with a kill and assist to their name on top of it, and the Cole picked up too, they're just going to have to just wait out this game as long as possible. But late game Jinx is still pretty annoying to deal with, even as a very fed Senna. So we're going to see how that plays out. But again, this short range composition just not really paying off in this early game, and just giving Jinx, you know, that excited passive proc, it just makes the team fight just end right after that first, you know, teammate that drops on the side of Conduit.
Yeah, and like you said, for Cyclone with that Equalizer ultimate, it's even better because of how much CC is actually on the side of Andromeda. If you lock people in the cage, in the Driven Cataclysm, you know, people refer to it as the hot pot combo because you're in the bowl and then the hot fire is over top of you. But also, there's just the CC that can come out from the Encore from Notorious, and you got to walk in a straight line once you hit on that. So if that Equalizer is down, that red carpet, it's going to do a lot of damage. The world is going to take a lot of damage here. Has to flash.
All right, Dominus is going to be popped as well. It took so much damage just from the turrets itself, and looks like Ludicrous is going to pick up the solo kill over the world. Honestly, a matchup that Ludicrous was already handling pretty well before his untimely death on the top side, so is going to even up the record in that top lane, get some plates on top of it too. So honestly, everything going pretty well for Andromeda. You know, outside of that slight blunder on that top side, I mean, everything's gone their way. They have the Drake. Grubs are on the side of Conduits, but that's about all they got. And I think at this point, too, they're a little bit hesitant on taking some team fights until the rest of their lanes catch up.
Yeah, and I think there is still a world where Conduit can win these team fights. Like, if you get a good ultimate out of Glada with the category, with the Equalizer over top, is now the world is going to be zoned and chunked by Ludicrous again.
Disdain Ignite going to be used, so that makes this matchup a little bit harder for Ludicrous to survive on. Ludicrous does get out to safety, but if the world died again in that solo kill, that would have really spelled disaster for that top lane. However, the world able to hold its own. No items completed on either top laner, so no significant advantage outside of a slight experience advantage on the side of Ludicrous.
Yeah, and I mean, the world almost had this solo kill back onto Ludicrous there. He did hit the Fear Beyond Death, but just didn't get him within that execute range, so was not able to pick up that solo kill in return. But we'll have to see. We can see Coach Silent K getting up to a large CS lead here in the jungle with some good counter jungling so far. Glada has been trying to be there for his team. He's going to look to invade here himself, potentially, on the enemy Krugs, but Coach also looking for a play potentially in the mid lane onto Gav once Cyclone gets back in here. Cyclone already completing the role quest, getting those upgraded boots when he does get them, and now they're going in.
Oh, the Cataclysm is going to be used, but so is the Dawning Shadow, trying to provide a little bit of shielding. Gav forced to flash out of that Cataclysm, but that's one and Crucial Summoner spell gone, and Ludicrous trying to survive this top lane gank. I think should be able to get out of it. Does have to pop the Dominus to stay alive. Meanwhile, Fallen Warriors has found a Jarvan, but here comes Notorious for some additional backup and just going to be able to get out there. Meanwhile, Cyclone just starting to snowball even more as, yeah, I mean, items are starting to get completed up here.
Yeah, it is that Lich Bane first item for Cyclone in the mid lane, so going to be having a large amount of burst damage once he does go in and proc that. You can see that Mafal on their first item as well with the Hex Optics and the Sundered Sky picked up for Code Silent K. The interesting thing is going to be if the world is able to get the solo kill onto Ludicrous now that Fear Beyond Death is available to him once again. If he's able to hit that disdain and then get the ulti on, it shouldn't just be enough burst damage in that itself if Ludicrous doesn't get the Call the Meek off for additional healing. Is just solo kill territory. As we can see on the minimap, Coach Silent K hovering around in the top lane, going to be spotted on vision right now, and the world is so pushed in with no flash.
Cataclysm is not ready yet, but here comes the Jarvan, and that's just cleanup crew right there. Ludicrous going to be the one to grab the kill. There's nothing really left for the world to really get out of in that situation. Easy gank on that top lane as they continue their lead, and now over 4k gold lead already in 12 minutes. Meanwhile, they're looking at gank on to Cyclone, but both equalizers going to be spent. Oh my gosh, look at that burst damage as Cyclone is now unstoppable, 5-0. I mean, not even a complete item on on Gav Dougie Fresh, so a little bit tougher of a matchup there for the Rumble, as meanwhile Glada does avoid the abduct. However, the rest of the team is here. Glada forced to flash out, and looks like again the story of Conduit in this bot lane. They're just running for their lives under the turret, trying to stay alive as long as possible, and looks like Andromeda, they're only just gonna get the one kill onto the Rumble, but again, they're just pushing their advantage as much as they can and not letting any of the pressure fall off.
Gav was literally at half HP. Cyclone went in with the W, and I think just full bursted him in like one ability. That was actually insane to see. Like, we both reacted the same exact way because we were not expecting him to fall down at that HP off him just going right in there. A little bit of disconnect on both Glada and Gav there. You saw the Bramble Smash come out from Glada as Gav casted his ultimate and actually knocked Cyclone off of the equalizer there, so no extra burn damage coming through, and that potentially was the big difference. Who knows if they were going to be able to actually pick up the kill in that one, but now Cyclone bot lane, Fallen Warrior in trouble.
Oh my gosh, look at how much damage just a few autos and spells do as Cyclone picks up another kill, 6-0-0 on this Silas, and they're looking like they're going to try to secure the second Drake up. Coach Silent K maybe going to try to grab Glada in the process. That could definitely ensure that they get the kill. And here comes the stolen depth charge going to land onto the Maokai, and they pick up Gav Dougie Fresh right after that as well. It's been a tough game for Gav. It's maybe been a tough game for Conduit all the way across the board. Meanwhile, they're looking like there's going to be another solo kill on this top side. 13-2 in under 15 minutes. Dawning Shadow does actually shut down the Jinx, though. There's something going back over to Slifer, and that's been their first kill in quite a while. But it looks like they're still going to grab up the second Drake.
I think even with that kill going over to Slifer, I think if I'm on the Conduit team in this situation, I'm like, all right, guys, we lost this one. We just focus up for next game. Like, it literally... This game kind of felt over. The second Cyclone got 2 quick kills early in the mid lane, because then he was just able to impact the entire map, and now hold on, bot lane has some action again.
That charge does land onto the J4, and Slifer trying to do as much damage as possible. So the last Embrace is going to root up both members on the bot lane of Andromeda, but here comes the Cataclysm, and Slifer is stuck. Forced to flash out, does dodge the Scond of Scut from Cyclone, but Cyclone just going to pick up the Nautilus yet again, and there's just not enough damage, right? Like, they had some great engages, great stuns, great roots, but they can't kill the members of Andromeda with really anyone on their team. Maybe outside the world having some decent damage, but you just don't really have enough on this early game center, and definitely not on any of the other members. Rocket Bell finally going to be picked up for the Rumble, but again, just everything going the way of Andromeda still.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, Gav picked up a Hexac Proto Belt there, but so did Cyclone. Cyclone has already had 2 fully completed items, is 8-0 with the fully upgraded boots, and 10 stacks on a Dark Steel as well. Like you said, there's really no damage to kill the comp of Andromeda, because they have healing that's going to come out from the Renekton, the Jarvan with the Sundered Sky, and the Silas with his innate kit, and then Notorious TLP is going to be providing healing over top of all of that as well. So it's like, yeah, we can get Cyclone low, but how do we kill him? They're going to look for a play onto Ludicrous up here in the top lane, but TLP and Mafal are on their way too, and it looks like Ludicrous is just going to escape, and now it's time for the counterplay at Andromeda.
All right, and Cyclone is here, and that's a scary threat as the Nature Scratch going to be used on both sides. However, it's going to be Gladys that falls instantly, and this looks like it's going to be an easy Rift Herald for Andromeda again, trying to grab every objective they can off the map and making it darker and darker for the side of Conduits. And they just don't have a lot of places to go at this point. You know, like no matter where Cyclone shows up, it's just going to be more kills that follow him. And so far, 10 out of 15 kill participation. Most of the other ones were really on that top side with Ludacris and Coach Silent K.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find the avenue back here for the side of Conduit just because of how rough this early game has been. Like, yes, Slifer is in a good spot. He's 1-0. He's not down too much CS, but the question is he going to be able to auto-attack enough in a team fight to be able to kill Cyclone, to be able to kill Coach? Like, it is Slifer against the world right now for the side of Conduit. And he's on Senna. It's not like he's on a Sivir. He's not on a Kog'Maw, like one of these hyper-scaling champions. Just hold on.
Oh, here comes the Cataclysm in the world, caught in a tough position. Looks like he will be going down. Dawning Shadow not going to be enough to save him. Going to do some good chunk of damage onto Coach Silent K, though. But here comes ME on the Jinx, and they just don't have a response to this. It's just going to be Gladys trying to hold this wave as much as possible, but the rest of the members are so behind, even if they were there, they wouldn't really do much of an impact. They're just trying to catch up on some farm. But yeah, this mid lane matchup has not been fun for Gav, as full item behind the Silas and 2 levels and a bunch of CS on top of it. It's been a tough one, but you know, if they pull off a miracle team fight, they could potentially get some shutdowns, get some gold, necessary gold back. But until Cyclone dies, that gold is hanging in his own pockets.
Yeah, it's also like we've kind of all been here when we play AD carry, where like your lane goes pretty okay, but like the rest of the map is on fire, and you're like, all right, what's the way back into this game? And it's kind of just split push AD carry as Coach goes in for a long ride, is gonna get the charge and not get punished on the backside of it. The rest of his team in there in response, like Slifer kind of just needs to farm up as much gold as possible, try to get to the key items before a big team fight comes in. Like this next dragon, you just concede it as the side of Conduit. You play for the next 6 minutes, get as much gold as possible on Slifer. You kind of say, hey, Glada, you're an ult bot this game. I'm going to steal any camp that I can. Just get as much gold as possible. Get to 2 items. Get to a potential 3 item impact as well. And try to do enough in a team fight where it's going to be impactful. We can also see here ME Mafal picking up the Runaan's Hurricane on Jinx, just because, like you had said, Caleb, how short range the comp is for the side of Conduit. That Runaan's is going to provide so much value in these team fights when they do break out. But the name of the game right now for Conduit is farm up as much gold as possible, try to get anything you can on the map, whether it's a cross map for a singular turret if like somebody dies, or it's just getting the waves in good positions. They're kind of grouping up right now, looking to contest this dragon. I don't like this play out of them, how they're just letting the sideways beef right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, they really just got to give it up and maybe push the side lane, try to get some turrets and stuff like that, because I believe every turret is still up, except for maybe that bot lane on the side of Andromeda. And this is the difference part between these 2 comps, right? Like, yes, game is going to be paused for a bit. We'll see what's going on there. But as I was saying, you know, I think one of the difference is here between these compositions is, I mean, Slifer doesn't have the damage. Slifer could have the damage late game, right? But with how behind Gav is on, you know, his items, his levels, his CS, they really don't have much damage outside of a late game Slifer potentially. And you know, on the side of Andromeda, even if, you know, ME isn't fed, but ME is in a way, you still got Cyclone, you still got Ludacris dishing out a lot of damage too. So they have just like multiple threats you have to contend with, and playing into that from behind is just even worse.
Yeah, for sure. Like, they're grouping up for this dragon fight right here, and like I said, like, yes, I understand how the Platinum Brain works. You need to just give up this dragon. If you lose this team fight, you lose so much more, because Baron is spawning in 5 seconds. If you get full wiped here, and Andromeda's healthy enough, and they have so much healing on their comp, they can just full wipe you and go take Baron at like 20 minutes into the game. That is not what you need to have happen here as a side of Conduit. You need to just be willing to give up this objective. Like I said, you have this top wave, and you can see the comp from Andromeda's all on the spot side. You should just be up in top lane right now, in mid lane right now, just looking to push these wave and crack these turrets and get those objective bounties for you. But they're looking for, it's not even a 50-50 play at this point. It's like 80-20 and they're the 20%. This is not a good look at the pause time for the side of Conduit. We'll have to see potentially what this pause is for. Hopefully we get out of it quickly for the sake of us, but hopefully it's not a larger issue where like somebody's having really bad connection issues or an emergency came up. But once we have any information on it, we'll also let all you guys know. All we can do right now is speculate what's going to happen once we unpause and this potential Drake fight does come to fruition.
That's right. And honestly, at this point too, if they're a little bit behind, even leading up to Soul, like at the point that Soul spawns, if you're not ready for a fight there, it's sometimes just better to give up the Soul for one better fight later, because by the time that comes around, they could legitimately just end the game right off of a team wipe and a push right there, Baron or no Baron. But for the most part, on the side of Conduits, silver lining, I guess, is that they still have all their secondary turrets, their tier 2 turrets around their base, so they can't really grab too much even after taking a few fights here or there. They still have to go through quite a bit, so Inhib's still intact, still plenty of time to farm up, but I think they just have to take some of these fights as much as possible, maybe go for some split pushing. If you pick off the Worlds or Gab on the side lane, it's not the end of the world, as long as Slifer just stays even in levels and farm. And Slifer, I would say, doing as best as he could, right, given the game state for his team.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, like as an AD carry, I'm not an AD carry main whatsoever. Let's be real. I've been playing AD carry in solo queue for fun, but like I've had a game where it's like, man, everything's on fire, but the whole entire enemy team is on bot side. I'm just gonna go top side, catch 3 waves, take a turret, and try to just inject myself with as much gold as possible, because we're not winning a team fight, even if I am there. And if I am there, I'm just gonna die and fall even further behind, and that's not what you want on the center right now. But I mean, like you said, Andromeda can't end the game if they get a full ace here and they get a Baron, but they can set themselves up to win the game in the next 10 minutes if they get the full ace here and they get the Baron. It's not even the Soul that's going to be going over, so that's why I really dislike Conduit contesting for this one. You can just let this dragon go over. You have 5 more minutes before you actually have the team fight, or potentially 2 minutes if Andromeda wants to go for the Baron. But even then, you could potentially be willing to give over Baron, let them take your inner turrets, defend at your inhibitor line, and then play for the Dragon Soul fight, where you'll have more gold, you'll potentially have an angle to win the team fight. But I feel like as it is right now, it is so hard for them to win this pending team fight, just because of how far ahead a lot of people are. You can see here, it's a 4k gold lead in the mid lane for Cyclone over Gav. You have a 2k in the jungle, about